Okay, we're live. Let's just call that first stream a practice stream. It didn't go too well. What ended up happening was my bitrate was too high and it was streaming at about 1 frame per second, which was not desirable at all. So let's get started again. For anyone that didn't watch it last time, it is going to be this time actually just bullet drop and adding a scope and things of that type. So really just expanding upon the gun system from before. So yeah, let's just get started again. I just wiped it, I think, so we should be starting fresh from where we were in the last episode, but yep, I'll just try to do that now. Okay, so to start with, we're just going to create a bullet script. And also, if at any point you want to say something, just write it in the chat, I'll be listening to it. So, yeah. So we'll create a C# script and call it a bullet. And in that, this will be like the actual bullet, so it'll just add that to the component, and yeah, everything will go from there. Actually, I'll just delete that real quick because it already exists. But yep, so bullet, now that we have that script, we'll just create the bullet object. It'll be a empty object, and we will add the bullet component, and we'll give it a line renderer as well. As a material, we'll give it the sprite texture, so sprite's default, and that'll just give us a clean color. In color, we'll go with a bright orange, so about halfway down yellow and probably 3/4 orange or something like that. 3/4 red. Or green, I mean. Okay, so that's a nice bullety sort of orange thing. And I'll actually just copy that color code and paste it in. And then just set the opacity or alpha to 0. Then maybe another alpha at 100 about here, so it's getting sort of gradual thing, or solid to a point, and then gradual after that. Maybe just 50% actually. So solid all the way up to 50%, and then starts fading out. Okay. Yep. Okay. So we've got the bullet. We'll change the width down to 0.01 or something like that. So then as we drag it around, if it lets me, I'm not sure what's happening here. It's not letting me drag it around. Can I move other things around? Yep. That's really weird. I guess I'll just remove that again, see if it's just that. Holding it. Yeah, seems to just be a line renderer problem. I'll try it again. So, line renderer, sprite 0.01, and see if it moves. Nope, it's not moving at all. So the actual thing's moving, but it's not rendering for some reason. That's quite weird. Let's just hope it works later. I guess that's all we can say. I'll just call it bullet, and I'll drag it into the prefabs. For now, so we can actually see where it is, I'll just add a renderer component. So mesh renderer, mesh filter. Just get all the default stuff. And sphere. Change the size down to 0.01, 0.01, 0.01. Oh, just 0.1 probably. That'll do. Okay, so yeah, that's a bullet. It's not much different from what we had before though. So I'll just apply that real quick and disable, we'll hold on the line renderer, but it doesn't seem to be working at all. So let's just hope it does. Actually, yeah, no. Oh, I know why it's not working. It's because it's a line renderer, not a trail renderer. That's feels silly now, but okay. So trail renderer, and we'll just give it the same. Not sure I didn't pick up on that. Okay, sprite's default and 0.1. Oh, 0.01. So this is all stuff you're going to come across as a game developer. It just sort of happens. It's unfortunate, but it's realistic. So yeah. Add that in again. 100 and location 50. Okay, oh, 100 is not 100%. It's got to be 255. Okay. What other? Okay. Got that working. Yep, seems to be good. I'll turn the time down to 1 second just because we don't want it to be a huge long bullet. And now I can actually disable that renderer. Actually, might as well hold it, but it's not going to hurt anything. Okay, so we've got the bullet, and now we actually need to replace the projectile with that. So sphere to bullet, and first thing we'll do is go into the gun script, and we'll also open up the bullet script. Also, from last time I just extracted that, like these 2 lines of code right there, I just extracted into a shoot function, so pretty easy enough to do. But yes. So yeah, we're just going to get rid of this line right here because we're not going to be using that directly. And inside of the bullet script, we're going to be creating a new public void shoot function. So for now we won't give it any properties, and we'll just call it. So projectile dot get component bullet dot shoot. Okay. Now in the bullet, we're going to give it a few properties. So we'll give it one vector3 parameter called velocity. It'll also be direction than velocity, but we'll just call it velocity. So actually, yeah, might as well just call it velocity. Direction, I mean. So direction and speed, and that will create a velocity. Okay, so we'll give it a variable. Public, not public actually, we just want it to be private. Vector3 velocity. Okay, so velocity equals direction times speed. Dot shoot, and we'll give it 5-point dot forward as its direction and power as its speed. We'll hold in that line there just in case we want to revert back to the old shooting method, but yes. Okay, so we've got the velocity, now we actually can do the shooting. So just for neatest reasons, I'll remove these comments. And okay, so shoot, that's most of the stuff right there. Now in update, we'll do a few things. We'll just apply the velocity to the position, and then we'll apply Raycast to that, because that's what this is going to actually be doing. It's going to be combining Raycast and physics to create a Raycast that has drop but never misses. So transform dot position plus equals velocity times time dot delta time. Okay, so that works. And then so that'll just apply the velocity. It'll go in a straight line in the direction of the gun pointing. So it'll just be pretty much a normal projectile that doesn't have drop. So now we can just do maybe velocity. So we're going to add the drop to it. Velocity plus equals physics dot gravity times time dot delta time. So what that'll do is it'll just make it so it accelerates downwards at the speed of gravity, but we're adding time dot delta time because that just makes it so that it's smooth and happens at the speed of gravity rather than 9.8 meters a second acceleration per frame. So we're changing it to seconds rather than frames. Okay, so got that working. But all that'll do is it'll just shoot out. Actually, I'll just show you real quick. That'd make more sense. Wait for it to load and see if it works. That's always important. Okay. Okay, so got our controllers. Pick up the gun, pick up the magazine, slide it in, see if it shoots. Yep, okay, it shoots out, has a trail, and yep, and it has a drop. You can see that because there's no physics being applied to it technically. It's just in that little script that we created then. But also you'll notice that it just flies straight through that right there, so it's almost pointless to have. You can see it just flies straight through without even recognizing it. But the whole point of this is to have it so that it does collide and everything else. Okay, so do that. Back into the bullet script. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is by using a Raycast. So ray equals new ray. We'll start in the transform.position and go in the velocity direction. Yep. Pretty much a standard Raycast, but Raycast hit, and won't initialize that. If physics.raycast ray out hit, and then velocity.magnitude for the distance, because we want it to only move as far as the velocity is moving. So actually not velocity.magnitude, we'll do velocity.magnitude times time.delta time, again to normalize that to frames based on seconds. So time.delta time. Okay, now we will make it so that if it hits, then transform.position equals hit.point. Otherwise, we'll just copy this, and that will be the other option. Okay, so that'll work, and it'll detect hits, and it'll move towards it, but it'll just fly straight through it because it's not stopping yet. So what we have to do that is create a stopped or is moving variable. So boolean is moving equals false, and then if is moving, then enclose that all in it. When it gets shot, is moving equals true, and when it hits something, is moving equals false. So that should be everything. We can just try that out now. Okay. Back in VR. So we got the gun, we got the magazine, slide in. Now shoot. You can see how it flies forward and hits the wall and stops. It's probably actually a good thing I left those spheres there, because it actually gives you a good representation of where it's hitting and stopping. You can see it. You can see how fast it's going, and like a normal object would just fly straight through. Like there's no doubt about it. So that's what this system's good for. It'll hit anything that has something to hit. So, for example, it's not hitting other bullets because they don't have colliders attached to them. But yeah, you can fly straight over. You can see how it dips. See, I'm pretty sure that's everything for the bullet drop part of this. Pretty fun to play with as well. Just watch them arc. Surprisingly, I've fired thousands of these in one setting, and I've never had a problem with frame rate. So it's a bit weird, but it's just how it is at the moment. I'm not sure why that happens, considering it's a lot of things spawning, but I'm not going to complain. Okay. So just get back. Okay, so what we're going to do now is going to add the scope. It's fairly simple. You're just going to use a render texture and a camera. So with this gun, I'll just do maybe just a cylinder, rotate it 90 degrees and put it up one. Okay, so then I'll just scale it down to maybe 0.75. Then I'll duplicate it. Put it at 1.76. Actually, no, I'll just keep it at 0.75. It'll be the same. And I'll just move this along 0.01, so it's slightly sticking out. And I'll scale these ones down a bit, so it's sticking out, but it's not covering up the whole thing, so it looks like a sort of display on it, and doesn't stick out the other side either, so you can't see it on there. Okay. So that exists, but it's not really doing much at this point. So in materials, I'll just create a new render texture. I'll call this scope. If I just drag it onto the scope, it's applied to it, but it's pretty boring at the moment. It's just a black color, and it's not doing anything. So on the gun, I'll just create a new camera. Move it up one, so that it's aligned with it. and you can see how it's just facing there. And I'll turn down the field of view a bit so it looks like it's actually zooming in. And on this new material, something I've noticed is that it'll be a bit shiny, and you don't want that. So, yes. Now, it's still not doing anything because we haven't assigned the render texture yet. So, with the camera, I'm just going to drag this render texture into it, and then all of a sudden, it's rendering. Actually, instead of facing this way, I'll move it off the other way. So negative 0.01, and you can see how it's just zoomed in on that point in front of it. So if I press play, I'll just test it out real quick. Okay, pick it up. You can see wherever I point, it zooms in on, and you can get a clear view of where you're aiming. You can't see it from the other side either, which is good. So, slide the magazine in, point, and shoot. And then you don't even have to look anywhere else, you can just look at that and aim. And it's a bit above it, but that's because the scope is technically here where the scope is, rather than down here where the muzzle is. So, what you could do is just make it so that it's aligned with the muzzle, which isn't realistic, but for the point of a game, you might as well. It just makes it more fun. So yeah, you can just make it so that the camera doesn't get offset 1 and just stays at level 0. What you'll notice happens is it shoots more towards the center. But you'll also notice something else, which I'll point out in a second. So if I shoot, you can see how it's shooting 100% accurate. Obviously it slows the drop, but you'll also notice that it's coming straight from the camera, which probably you don't want, because you can't see like the sort of trail to it. It sort of blocks off things. So you might want to have like a slight vertical offset, but I'll just leave it like this for now because it doesn't much matter. I'll also show you a few more things. You can tweak the power settings. So if I go into gun, I could turn the power down to maybe like 25. Try that. Again. And then you can see how it's got a lot of drop to it now. So even if I aim, I'm going to have to sort of aim up for drop. Like if I'm trying to hit like the top of that door right there, I might be able to align it with the center. But well, it's not really far enough to make a difference. But if I go like over here to the edge of the space, if I aim at the center of it, then you can see how far away it hits. So you've got to sort of do the drop counteracting and stuff like that. Generally, bullet drop will be used for long distance games, but it's just an interesting thing to have. Okay, so that's it for the scope. And there was one more thing that I was suggested before I did this stream, and that was to add a canvas that showed the ammo count. So I can go into the gun and just add a canvas. Just give a UI text. Line it normally and let it overflow. We want this to be world position rather than overlay. So just 0 it out, 1, 1, and 1, 1, 1. With the new text thing, scale it down as well, but you'll notice how bad it looks because it's all pixelated. I think they're adding a new text mesh system at the moment. I don't know if it's already in here, but for now I'll just use the old technique, which is scaling up the font size to maybe something like 50. Doesn't look amazing, but it looks a lot better. Then you just scale it down, so 0.01, 0.01, 0.01. Let's have a look at that. Probably still a bit too big. I might 0.05, 0.005, 0.005. Now if I just move forward a bit, it's a good display, I guess. I can just move it up a bit as well. Maybe 0.6, then 0.3 maybe. Okay, and then I can just, so it says 0. Alright, Now in the gun script, we're going to be creating a new variable. Also, just add this. I forgot to take that out before, but just add the Unity engine.ui, and then we can create a public text ammo display, and then we can just go if mag.currentMag, and then else. So ammo display dot text equals 0. So this is saying if it doesn't have a magazine attached, but if it does have a magazine attached, I'll just copy this, and if it does have a magazine attached, we'll make it so that it is the mag slot current mag dot rounds left. But you've also got to do .to text, to string actually, because that just converts it to a string, so you can set it as text thing. So now I'll just test that out and see if it looks alright. Okay. Yep, a little display counter, but you'll notice that it's not updating for the magazine, which is not good. So I can shoot, which shouldn't happen if I actually did have 0 ammo. So I'll just test that real quick, see what's gone wrong. Let's close that down. Okay, so ammo display dot text. Oh, the problem is we didn't set the ammo display. So yeah, no ammo display. We'll just drag that in. It should work now. So if I, yep, got my 100,000 ammo. If I shoot, it takes it down, and yeah. So it looks pretty good. If I shoot straight up, which is a bit of a challenge, you can see they come back down. I'll try to get one to come down on me. But yeah, they come back down, which is something you can't really simulate with the normal Raycast. But yeah, they'll hit 100% accurate, and the reason that one's floating right there is because it's not actually like been shot yet. It was just the default object that we created that I forgot to delete. But yeah, you might want to scale that bullet size down to quite small, so like 0.01. And then 0.01 again. I'll apply that, and then might be better. Yep, so just tiny little shots right there. It's like a little BB gun. But yeah, also yeah, just floor alignment from a few episodes ago. Just you can see how it works. It's pretty simple, but it just moves your head up as you go along. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's everything. I guess I'll see you in the next live stream, hopefully. Actually, before I go real quick, I'll show you my Discord, so I'd suggest you join it. It's just the IO stream. I'll add the link to it in my YouTube video, just so you can access it. But yeah, if you want to watch these streams live, I'd suggest you go and look at it on the IO stream, so twitch.tv/the IO stream. I'll leave a link to that as well in the YouTube video of this, because the whole point of this series is to have user input. I decided to do something pretty similar to what I would usually do, because like for this episode, because wasn't expecting anyone to really watch it, which is what happened. But yeah, so if you could come and watch it next time, I'll try to do something a bit different, so it's sort of more live stream based, and makes more sense to do a live stream of it. This is taking a while to play, probably because I'm doing my stream. But yeah, I think I'll cut the stream off now and see you in the next one.